Hey everybody, it's Peter, and in this video, I'm going to go over all of the new 2023 Kawasaki motorcycles that showed up here at Jim Gilbert's Wheels and Deals. Now in this video, I'm going to focus on the road-going or street motorcycles. So we will touch on dual sport, but basically everything in this video is going to be road legal. And most of the vehicles that I'm going to talk about, I've done full proper reviews on, but this is going to be sort of a quick hit on what's new for 2023. So to organize this video, I'm going to basically start from lower CCs up to larger engine bikes, and there will be some variance in there because, for instance, the retro bikes, we're going to compare them all together. So to make it simple for you, I've put links in the description to the bikes that are in this video, so you can skip ahead to the bike that you're interested in and not have to watch a whole bunch of bikes that maybe you're less interested in. So again, I'm filming here at Jim Gilbert's Wheels and Deals. This is Canada's largest volume Kawasaki dealer. We're filming in March, so it's going to be a little bit of a mix. Some bikes I haven't seen yet. I'll try to mention those as we go, and if you don't see the bike that you're looking for, or you don't see the bike that you're looking for in the description below, it's probably because it's still coming in. However, if you have comments or questions or anything like that about any of these bikes, I'm going to use your comments as the basis for more videos. So make sure you hit subscribe and let me know what you want to see still, or the types of things you want to see about the 2023 motorcycles, and I will continue to make videos for you there. So let's get going, starting at the very bottom of the ladder, the Z125. Let's go check it out. So at the very bottom of the engine sides, we've got the Z125. Now I did do a full review of this bike. Really not a lot of changes. I don't think any changes for 2023. This one here is, of course, blue paint, gold fork tubes, gold wheels. This is sort of a smaller bike. It's not going to go full interstate highway speeds reliably, although you could technically go out that speed. But a good little entry-level bike. For most people, we're going to go to a little bit larger bike as an entry-level bike. This is more of a fun bike, great second bike, that kind of thing. Let's look at the 300 series, and then we'll go to 400 series next. So in the 300cc, there's only one bike in the more street-oriented class. This is sort of an adventure class bike. It is a Versys-X 300. Now there are other 300s, we'll get to them next, but this one is far more on-road than off-road compared to the other 300s. It's a twin cylinder. It reminds me of my very first motorcycle. It's a great first motorcycle. You can add luggage on the side here as well. You can tour with this thing. It's super fun, it's lightweight, and the green color, the color scheme, of course, new for 2023. So staying with the 300cc, you have the KLX 300. Now there's two versions of this. There's this sort of on-off-road dual sport. This one's really popular here at Jim Gilbert's Wheels and Deals. You've got this color here, and then you've got a camo gray one, which I've done reviews on as well. So a lot of reviews on the KLX 300. Also in that KLX 300 is the SM. SM stands for Supermoto, so that's got street tires, kind of a racy kind of on-road bike in a full dirt bike chassis. So that's kind of cool. If you're wondering why I left out the KLX 230 as a road going bike, we do have one. I have reviews on that, but the reviews that I have are a 2022 model. For 2023, you're going to get an LED headlight, some upgrades there. But just so you know, the review I have so far is just the 230. I will have 230 in 2023 when it comes in. So you can stay tuned for that, but that's why I skipped over it. Let's go ahead to the 400s now. So next up, the 400s here. This is a really popular class. Really what you're looking at is an identical chassis with a different front end. So this is the Z400 here, a little bit smaller front end. The headlights turn with the wheel. And then you have the Ninja 400 here, where the headlights are built into a fairing, just like a sort of more of a race bike. So you've got what they call the naked bike and what you've called the, sort of sport bike styling. Now, the differences between these are very, very minimal. There is a slight difference in the handlebars and the slight riding position. In my opinion, neither one is more or less comfortable, so you can kind of choose which one you like in there. There are some pros and cons, and I've done videos on both of these, especially comparing them side by side. So there's lots of videos in this 400 class, Z400, Ninja 400. Right now, sitting here, if you're shopping at Jim Gilbert's Wheels and Deals, there's still a lot of 2022s on the floor. The only change for 2023 is some color changes. Not every 2023 is out here. This is the Ninja 400 in a new color scheme, the 2023 model. But there will be more color schemes, so make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'll continue to fill you in more on these colors as they come out. But as far as the bikes go, they're the same, which means if you come here, you can get the new 2023 color scheme, or you can save a little bit of money and go with the 2022 models in that color scheme, because again, it's the same basic bike. So now let's move up to the 600 class bikes. So now we're taking a look at the 650 class. I did skip over the ZX6R. That is a much faster bike. We'll get into that super sport class in a second here. But in this 650 class, Kawasaki makes all kinds of bikes with this motor. So we'll start here with the Z650. These are both 2023, and to see them really well, you'd have to probably pull them out from the crowd of other motorcycles to really get into the details. And I have done a video, a couple videos actually, on the Z650s. One started with just the Z650 and also comparing it to the Retro. This 650 motor, this twin cylinder, is a really great street motor. So that street sport kind of motor works really well, and they use it for absolutely everything. We're gonna let Bob walk by the camera here. Go ahead. He's got to greet someone. There's Bob. And then we're gonna keep going here. So in these models here, the real difference is color schemes. You've got red wheels here on the gray, and it's called gray. So the gray has the red wheels, red frame, and then the darker gray has the black wheels, but still that green frame there. Really nice look. These bikes really impressed me when they first showed up, but there's a 2023 Z650. Let's keep looking at the 650 class. So this is the Ninja 650. Now, right now, I have yet to see a 2023 Ninja 650. This one here, 2022, it does have the TFT display. I believe they may have added traction control for 2023. I'll let you know in the screen here if I'm correct. But this, again, basically the biggest difference is color schemes as well. So again, the Z650, the Ninja 650, basically the same bike, a little bit different ergonomics there as well. And compared to the Ninja 400 sitting beside it, it's hard to see when you see them side by side, but if you sit on them, this is a just slightly larger bike. The Ninja 400 is very compact, which I like, but this does give you a little bit larger sizing, just a hair, probably gonna fit most of the same people. And of course, that 650 engine gives you some more power. Now, we've been talking about sport bikes and 650s. Let's talk about the ZX6, which is sitting just off camera right now, so we can get that out of the way as well before we move on to some of the other 650cc bikes. So the ZX6R is right here, and if you're new to motorcycles, the ZX6R is a 4-cylinder instead of the 650s that we've been talking about, which are all 2 cylinders. 4 cylinders, more power. So this one is technically not a 600, it's a 636, but this is certainly a step up in performance. I've done a full review of this bike, of course, and there are other sport bikes here. The big thing to know, though, is that for most people, this isn't your first bike. This is as upright as I'm gonna sit on it. So it is absolutely great for getting into a tuck. It is absolutely great to go to the racetrack. If you wanna buy this to casually go around town, sure, you can do that, but it's gonna be less comfortable than some other bikes in the class. And even if you want a bike with this much power, the 636 may not be the best choice for you. There's some 900s that are gonna be similar in power, actually more torque, and probably be a little bit more comfortable. But you have full suspension adjustment here. You have a lot of race-friendly stuff, really high revving engine. Redline is 16,000 RPM. This thing is an absolute blast, but you're gonna sacrifice some of that comfort. So there's and again, I do have a review of this bike, so you can watch that, and there's a playlist description at the bottom here. You can find it there. Staying with that twin-cylinder 650 engine that was in the Ninja 650, that's in the Z650 and others that I have yet to talk about in this video, this is the Versys 650. Some people call it Versys or something like that. I used to own this bike. It was this one had an update in 2022. So for 2023, it's a carryover bike. Where this one varies from the other bikes is it is a fairly tall bike. That's something you do have to keep in mind. Quite tall. I'm about 6 feet tall. I'm just about flat footing, but not quite. So taller bike. What you get here though is a lot. You have an adjustable windshield that goes up and down like that. TFT display. You've got the hand guards here keeping you your hands protected from weather, from debris, from other things. Good wind protection here with the bodywork here. You get a little bit of wind protection off of your legs here. And the biggest thing is you have these removable side cases that are about 28 liters each. This is a 650cc touring bike, a sport touring bike. It's styled like an adventure bike, but it's a very much on-road bike. It has not got dirt-friendly tires. And really what this is the Ninja 650, kind of maneuverability. For most people, this is all the sport bike they need, but you sit upright, you have a good passenger seat, you can add on the side cases here, which really expand, and you can put a top case on here as well. But these side cases, all of this, like you're looking at it, this comes standard as it is. And I call this the perfect single-person touring bike. Now, that doesn't mean you can't take two people. It does lose a little bit of playfulness when you add the second person on, but it's set up to carry luggage. It's even got a preload adjuster on the rear shock here. You can just spin this to restore the ride to the proper setting when you've added extra weight to the back. So really good bike, really versatile bike. If you are a little bit taller and you're unsure in the 650 class, you want something sporty, but you want something comfortable, absolutely, this is a bike to consider because it is also very practical. Whether you use these side cases to travel across the country or on a weekend camping trip, or whether you just use them like I have many, many times to bring the stuff I need to bring to work, really practical. And again, these things slide off in seconds with the key. So good bike here. I have a review of it, a few reviews up now. Again, if it's a 2022 bike, it's the exact same bike, so you can watch either review, and that'll help you get to know this bike. Our showroom is so packed, it's easier to show you this Vulcan S. This is also the 650 class, and what's interesting is you can really see the shared componentry between this and the Versys that we just showed you a few seconds ago. Has the shock down here, just like the Versys 650 did. This is a cruiser with that Ninja 650 engine, so it really has a lot of character to it as far as a more powerful, faster revving bike. It's not like the regular cruisers that have that tons and tons of torque, but slow revving. This is a little quicker revving and more powerful. And of course, like any cruiser, this one is sold. You can add on extra accessories. This one has accessory lights on there. Big thing I like about this bike is it has an adjustable fit, an ergo fit type thing. So I'm not sure if this is set up for me or not, but it can be set up for very short people or very tall people. You can have the bars different. You can have the pegs different. You can kind of adjust that rider triangle. And it gets you into a very lightweight, maneuverable sport cruiser, which is usually more approachable for a lot of people, and instead of going to a heavier, in some cases slower but more torquey cruiser. So very cruiser feel in the seating position, very cruiser feel in the look. However, a little bit more sport bike, high revving engine in the way it works. Let's move on to the retro bikes. Next up in that 650 line is the Retro Sport lineup. So this is the Z650 RS. Think of the Z650 that we started the whole 650 section with, but it's the same frame and same most components, but obviously a completely different look. What you get here is a little bit more comfortable seating position, in my opinion, a little bit more comfortable seat. You have retro style gauges, but you still have a fully modern sport bike. The difference with these RS lineups is they are a fully modern retro bike. We're going to show you some retro bikes that are really old-fashioned in the way they make them and the way they handle and everything else, but these ones here in the 650 class give you a nice option of that retro look with a fully modern sport bike. So if you're paying close attention and you're watching this video as we move through according to CC, I'm actually skipping right now a 650 bike, which is the KLR. We're going to get to that next, but because we started talking about retro bikes, I want to talk about this one. And really as a power class, this is kind of a step down from the 650 RSs that we just talked about. This is a 773, it's the W800. Now this bike, unlike the RS lineup, is not a fully modern bike. From the tire design to the geometry of it all, to the suspension design, even the engine, it's got a shaft and bevel gear driving the cams. All of that is old technology. So when you buy this bike, it is a brand newly manufactured bike that feels exactly like an old bike because it's built like the old bike. When you say they don't make them like they used to, they do with the W800. It's a really fun bike, upright seating position, not all about performance, but it brings you back to a different time with a fully reliable 2023 motorcycle. I do have a review of this one as well. You can see that on the channel. So back to the final 650 in the lineup. This one is the KLR 650. Now this is a single cylinder, so you're giving up some horsepower over the twin cylinder 650s that we talked about up until this point, but this used to be kind of classified as a large dual sport. We're now kind of bridging it into the adventure class. For 2022, it was redesigned gently, sort of more of a new look and refreshed with fuel injection. But for 2023, it's a carryover for the most part. Now, the difference being that, first of all, there's this one here, it's the regular KLR. There's the KLR Adventure, which basically comes with accessories pre-mounted. You have a number of power accessories like a USB port, a 12-volt port. You also have the luggage already attached. And those are the two trim lines. ABS is optional. It's actually a very inexpensive ABS upgrade on these. But then you have the new for 2023 KLR S. The S is shorter, not in length, but shorter in height. So if you're a shorter person or you like this bike, but you want it to feel a little bit more like a street bike and less like a dirt bike, I have a KLR S review that actually has performed fairly well on the channel, where we talk about the differences between that. So that is the new thing for 2023. I don't have one right here to show you right now, but of course that's a bike that's available. So again, KLR, KLR Adventure, and KLR S. I have all of that. The only difference is the KLR Adventure model is a 2022 video, but because that's a carryover, everything about that should be identical. So you can find those on the channel as well. Let's move now to a little bit larger class, the 900cc bikes. So now we're in that 900 class, and I've done a number of videos here on the Z900, but this one in particular has not made it on camera yet. This one just showed up yesterday. Basically, the Z900, the newest thing is just color schemes, and they look fantastic, just a lot like the Z650s we talked about earlier. You've got that really nice frame coloring here with the green. The green wheels on this one just pop. Everybody walks in, they really like the look of that, they see that. Same thing over here, you've got the red frame with the red wheels. A little different than the Z650 because the green framed one has black wheels. This one here, different on the 900. So the 900, again, now you're into that 4-cylinder engine, a lot of power, a lot of torque. This 900 engine is used in both the Z900 and the Z900 RS. The RS we'll show you in a second. It's a bike that I bought, but this one has a slightly different parts of the engine as well as a slightly different tune, which allow it to have more horsepower than the RS. So this one is a little bit more like a race bike on the street. If you're looking for the ZX6R, you want that kind of power, but you need something more comfortable, Z900 is a really good option for you. And again, I've got several videos up. There's also an SE model. We'll just touch on that right now. So the Z900 SE as well as the Z900 RS SE have two key upgrades that really kind of make a difference. You have the Öhlins shock back here and the preload adjuster right there, remote preload adjuster on there. Same thing with the SE of the RS model, which we'll just get to in a second here. You also have an upgraded Brembo brakes with the steel braided brake lines there as well. So a little bit of a performance upgrade, and anything in the Z900, not necessarily the Z900 RS, which I bought, but the actual Z900 range is a very, very good bargain in motorcycling overall and even within the Kawasaki lineup. So fast bike, fun bike, and again with this SE you get the upgraded suspension and the Brembo brakes, something to consider. I've done a review on this bike as well. So now we have the Z900 RS. RS stands for Retro Sport, and there's actually two versions of this. One I don't have on camera right now, but I actually bought, and this channel will be full of it. So if you're looking for the Z900 RS, I happened to buy the SE. It's the yellow and black color scheme. It was new in 2022. It's a carryover for 2023. This channel will be filled with content on that bike. Then there's the Cafe version, which we're showing you here. Basically the same bike here, although I did do a video comparing the comparing the Cafe with the regular 900 RS or Z900 RS. And again, there's more than just a slight seating position difference, slight seat difference between the two. So if you're interested in this bike, absolutely follow this channel because of course I will be loading this channel with that content. This is a bike I really like. Again, the power, the peak horsepower is down from the Z900, but they do manage to move the torque a little bit lower in the rev range, and it should be a stronger torque range in that mid-rev range when you're driving on the street. So again, like the Z650 RS, this is a fully modern sport bike for the street, and the tank, of course, comes back to those bikes from the 70s, the overall look, the rear end, all those bikes from the 70s, it looks a lot like those, but you really have a modern bike, again, with the classic gauges. So that's the RS lineup. All right, I'm gonna be honest, I forgot to film this, so I'm actually fitting this in after I filmed everything else. So if the edit doesn't quite work perfectly, I apologize. But this is the Ninja 1000 SX. This is not the 10RR. This is not a track bike, although you can take it to the track. What I love about this bike is it's a relatively upright seating position. It's got an adjustable windshield where you can really move it around. It's got cruise control. It's a really good sport touring bike that's not an adventure style, so it's low to the ground, really handles well. It got a ton of power, all the power you would need for the road, and it's a bike that I almost bought. I really like this bike for a whole bunch of reasons. The biggest thing is the technology in this bike, the IMU. We talk about that in the full review of that I did of this bike. really steps it up as far as what this is capable for from the traction control perspective, the ABS perspective, and a whole bunch of other things. This thing is a real technology leader. It's also very comfortable for a single rider, very comfortable with a passenger, and you can put bags on the side and really properly tour with it. I'm a massive fan of this bike. I forgot it because it's back here. It's sold. It's out of the showroom. It's down here in the service area, ready to be delivered very soon, but well worth it. And again, I did do a review of this bike, and I will be doing further reviews of both the bike and the technology when the next one comes in. The next one's gonna have the red color scheme. So that is, again, what's new for 2023. Where this one is green, the next one will have a sort of a dark red color scheme as well. Looking forward to seeing that one because I'm a huge fan of this bike. All right, so we finished with the 900 4 cylinders, twin cylinders. Now, if you're looking for a true V-twin cruiser, you have a couple options here. So still staying in that 900cc class, you have the Vulcan, which is really popular and you can really be customized. Now, there's lots of different trim lines here. This is the custom one. This one could be the classic, but it actually is the, I call it the bagger, and I forgot the name off the top of my head. But the classic is very similar to this as well. So you've got options here to customize these up. Again, these ones are factory stock as is. These 900cc's have a little less horsepower than the 4-cylinder 900s, but of course they're true cruisers. They've got that torque, they've got that rumble, they've got that full feel. What I love about the way Kawasaki does cruisers is they don't start from a place of Kawasaki sport bikes, which is really what they're known for. They really start fresh and say, what is a real good cruiser? And there's really good value in these, in price point, in features, and that kind of thing, and of course reliability's there, but you really get that V-twin feel. Now, there is another V-twin, which is the big monster. The Vaquero is the 1700, and this one here is the Vulcan Voyager. So Vulcan 1700 Vaquero, Vulcan 1700 Voyager. I've done both of these. This is a 2023 model here. Actually, all of these that I've just shown you are 2023 models. The real difference with these ones here is color schemes for 2023, and same thing here, color schemes for 2023. They are carryover models from before, and whether you're looking for the Vaquero or the Voyager, again, both of those have videos here as well. So those are the large bikes. Can you find me? I'm way over here. What you're looking at right now is probably just a third of the main showroom here at Jim Gilbert's Wheels and Deals. There's a whole bunch more that way, and obviously there's down the hall, through around the corner, all kinds of more showroom to show you all these bikes. This video is just some of the 2023s that have shown up. Two notable ones that I haven't been able to film yet. The ZX-10R is coming in, and the Versys 1000 is also going to be here soon. So if you have questions about any of the Kawasaki street bikes or any other of the Kawasaki product, this channel is going to have it. When the spring hits, we're going to get out on the Kawasaki Way, which is here at Jim Gilbert's Wheels and Deals. It is a full off-road test track that is open to customers. And of course, I'm going to go out there and test all of their off-road vehicles out there as well. And of course, there's still Vespa, Pedigo, e-bikes, there's Piaggio as well, all kinds of things that will be reviewed on this channel. So if you have questions about any of those products, let me know in the comments below the things that you want to know, because I'm going to make a video every single work day, and I will continue to make sure that you learn more about those products. If you want to see those products in person, swing on down to Jim Gilbert's Wheels and Deals, and you can check out them all. This is March right now, and as you can see, showroom's full.